Again, I'm Frank Hanley, and I am in North Carolina. And if you can put where you are in the chat, that would be great. If you're new to the program, welcome. If you are a veteran returning, welcome back. This is the Feeling Fit program. We started this back in September of 2022. Our 2-year anniversary is coming up pretty quick. We meet on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month. These sessions are recorded, and the recordings are available on the FSHD Society's YouTube channel. Also, I have an access page, a resource page that I have out on my website. It contains links to different different recordings from these sessions, and some PDFs and some other stuff, FSHD related stuff. So that's at Frank Hanley, my name, frankhanley.com/FSHD. You can find those resources there. I also run a Facebook group called the FSHD Wellness Channel. I do videos like this on that channel. I was doing them weekly. I stopped for a while. I'm going to probably start doing them again in the fall. And if you want a copy, I have a PDF version of this session. If you want a copy of that, just put your email in the chat, and I'd be happy to email you a copy of that. Today is the part 2 of our breathing and breath work sessions that we started. Part 1 was 2 weeks ago. I'm going to review what I did in that session, and then I'm going to add on some new stuff for today. And we actually met the other night, and we're going to have a part 3 of this, which will be the first meeting in July. And I'll talk more about that later. Actually, after the new exercises, we'll try to put some time at the end for Q&A, right? So, sorry, I had 2 computers, now I'm down to 1, so I've got to figure out where my mouse is. Okay, so my disclaimer is I am not a medical professional. I am a person with FSHD, and I practice Qigong, Kung Fu, and Tai Chi. And I find that my practice helps me in my fight against FSHD. I do these sessions to share what I know, and with the hopes that it might help you too. This is a demonstration only. You're welcome to follow along. If you're not sure, consult a medical provider for some guidance. If you have difficulty with any of these exercises, please let me know. I try to simplify them as best I can. I do some standing, I do some seated, I do some lying down. I try to present a variety of things because the disease affects all of us differently. But today's stuff will be done all seated. So we'll just be doing seated exercises today. All right. Quickly about me. I started noticing shoulder weakness when I was about 18. Foot drop when I was in my early 30s. I had the first diagnosis in my early 30s. I was introduced to FSHD. In the early 2000s, my son had shoulder issues, and I took him to be checked, and it was just a sore rotator cuff because he was playing a lot of baseball. 2012, I was down in Baltimore. I had moved to Baltimore. I went to Johns Hopkins, the MDA clinic there. I did the genetic test, and it was type 2 positive, or type 1 positive rather. I started with the FSH Society in the spring of 2019. I went to a meeting in Philadelphia. Right after that, in June, I retired and we moved to South Carolina. There was no FSHD Society chapter in South Carolina, so we started that up in the February of 2020, just prior to COVID. So we had one face-to-face meeting, and then our next meetings were all done through Zoom. 2022, again, we started this group. I usually do 4 to 6 sessions a year. 2020, I started, like I mentioned, the Facebook group, and that's up to about 180, 200 members right now. Again, I've been practicing Qigong, Tai Chi, and Kung Fu for a good part of my life. I really started back in around 2009 doing Qigong and Kung Fu specifically. I got my Qigong certificate, instructor certification in 2019. I do presentations like this locally and nationally and online. And again, my goal is to just share what works for me, and hopefully you'll find something in here that works for you too. So what I talked about last time, when I started off, we talked about breathing, how important breathing is. I'm just going to skim through this. If you want me to stop and go back and go into detail on some of this stuff, just let me know. So we talked about breathing, how breathing is at the top of things that we need to survive. We need food, we need water, we need shelter, and we need air. And we can only survive a couple of minutes without air. So I put that up at the top of my list of in the pecking order of things that we need. There's also two ways we're designed to breathe, two different, to have two ways to breathe. We can breathe through our nose or we can breathe through our mouth. So two ways to do that. We were belly breathers and we developed into chest breathers. There's a lot of folks out there who are now mouth breathers, and I was talking a little bit about mouth breathing, why it's not a good thing to do, and if you are a mouth breather, you should try to be conscious of it and do chest breathing or belly breathing, which I'll talk about a little more in a minute. Because being a mouth breather dries out your mouth, you get sore throats, you're not using your nose for what it's designed for, being a filter. And all that junk's getting into your system. So practicing being a nose breather is important. And the other thing about mouth breathing is because of FSH, the F in FSH, of course, is the face and the muscle weakness. So we have a tendency to, our mouth tends to open up, especially when we're sleeping. So we need to be conscious of that. And somebody made the comment about taping their mouth shut last time. Not something I would recommend, but you do what you have to do, right? So the nose, again, is a filter. It traps all the junk. And we'll do a lot of breathing in the next hour. And being a nose breather is better, and being a belly breather, which we're going to go into today, is even better. And you can practice that. Practice nose breathing pretty much anywhere. Again, you got to be conscious and mindful of it at all times in order to try to overcome that. All right. So I'm going to just stop here real quick. If there's any questions about anything that I just said, let me look in the chat real quick. Okay. All right. And we've got folks, just if you guys are reading, LA, Massachusetts, which is June, of course. Alan is in New Jersey, Christy in Wyoming. Wow, hello in Wyoming. Illinois, Gary's Illinois, and Joe is in Philly. Okay, so we're kind of East Coast this week. A couple of people out on the West Coast. And welcome again, everyone. Any questions about about mouth breathing or nose breathing? Or the nose, or how important air is? Anyone?
I do. I see where we're supposed to raise our hands. I don't see that in the bottom. Anyway, I'm raising my hand. How common is dry mouth to us in later age and FSH? Is anybody aware? I mean, it started for me last year, and it is pretty much at night. I didn't realize I'm a nose breather, but at night I think things tend to fall open, and while I'm still breathing through my nose, it's still my mouth receives air and it dries out. Not a good thing, dry mouth. So I'm dealing with that. Is it common among us?
I'll join the club with you. I have the same problem.
And the other thing was, when you mentioned taping your mouth, hi, Anna. People who have those machines, the BiPAPs, some of them have harnesses to help, like an elastic harness to keep their mouth closed so that they're only breathing through their nose. I thought that was pretty cool. but I'm not wearing it now. I'm trying to unconsciously keep my mouth shut during the night, running a humidifier and an air filter, and it's helping. But do you take anything for dry mouth? There are
I don't.
pills that you can put in here. There's rinses, there's sprays, but the doctor says try to keep your mouth closed.
Right. I thought that, and one thought I had about it last time was to use some kind of I don't know, an ace bandage, if you will, to wrap this way,
Yeah.
hold your mouth closed at night.
Well, that's what the BiPAP.
Right. The BiPAP is kind of a fits over your whole face.
Oh, but they sell a separate elastic band that will help keep your thing that has nothing to do with the mask. It is essentially like your ace bandage, but
Right. So that's way better and less painful than putting tape over your mouth. Especially if you have a beard, right? Okay. All right. Anyone else? Thanks, Rick. Anyone else? Again, if you're joining, if you can put where you are in the chat so we can see who's where today, that would be great. And if you're joining late, welcome. I'm going to go into some of the exercises that I did last week, and then we'll jump over and we'll do some new stuff this week. I don't know. I'm not keeping. I don't keep attendance, but I'm just wondering if there's folks on that were on last week, and if they have been doing the exercises over the course of the week, and if they've had any revelations or struggles with that. I'd be interested to hear what's going on with that, and we'll talk about that. Let me just get through a few of these, and then we'll talk about that. Hi, Anna, how are you? Good to see you.
Frank,
Yes, go ahead.
this is JB. In response to Rick and the dry mouth, I actually just went these last 2 weeks, went to 2 different studies, Reachable Workspace and the Move Plus study. And they just basically told me that as our FSH progresses, of course, the breathing we're going to start seeing some different adaptations to our breathing, which would be going to a mouth breathing, mainly because of the trunk girdle weakness that some of us will get. So if that's a help to anybody, it's we start snoring more.
Okay.
And maybe sleep on an incline if you can.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't snore, but I do have the shallow breathing, which they call centrals. And that the neurologists say it's related to the coughing muscles in our chest. And my local pulmonologist can't test the coughing muscles, but that's
right.
typical FSH.
Well, because it's part of the abdomen that affects the diaphragm for the cough.
But I got tested my diaphragms, which are multiple. There's no problem with my diaphragms, but it must be the weakness, like you're saying, around and associated to it. But
to the abdomen, yeah.
The test would be, there is a coughing test similar to the sniff test for the diaphragms, but they don't have it here locally. So, but it's just to really ascertain, yeah, that's why it's happening. So all good information. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you both for that. Yeah. So my quick story for those who are who may not have heard it, I'd say it a lot. So if you've heard it before, so my story is how I got to this particular topic. was when I went to Johns Hopkins for my checkup. I used to go to Hopkins, the MD clinic there twice a year. The doctor asked me if I was waking with headaches. And as a matter of fact, at the time I was, and his concern was that the FSH was affecting my diaphragm, and that I wasn't exhaling completely at night, and I was retaining carbon dioxide, and that's why I was waking with headaches. So he wanted me to do the breathing test. I'm sure it's similar to what we were just talking about. But in the meantime, I circled back with one of my kung fu teachers at the time, and we went and we started doing more, a lot of more, what's the word I'm looking for? Intense diaphragm breathing exercises. So just to be clear, what I'm trying to introduce in these sessions here is kind of the scratching the surface of the diaphragm breathing exercises that I do. But the intent for me, and talking about the effect of FSH. So I mentioned my shoulders. It was in my leg. I have a left leg foot drop. I wear a brace. Very weak core, and now it's in my hips. So going up a flight of stairs. So the core is lifting anything from the front is almost impossible at this point. I always joke I struggle with the bag of groceries, and the groceries usually win. And now my just trying to climb a flight of stairs is a struggle. So doing the breathing, FSH definitely affects the core. So we all know that, and we all have some variation of that, I think. And if you don't, you're lucky at this point. But the breathing part was, back to the air and stuff. If you can't breathe, you're dead in my eyes. So I'm doing everything I can to keep that area, that system, my respiratory system, healthy. And there's a lot of other benefits to doing this type of breathing also. So anyway, let me get back into it. But that was my story. That's how I got to being so focused on doing this type of breathing and these type of exercises. Just so you get a little history there. It all circles back to meeting the neurologist at Johns Hopkins, probably back in like 2014, 2015 is when I started doing this. All right, so let me go. Oh, I have to change them. Let me just do one thing before I do that. There we go. That's better. Okay. I'm trying to get the Zoom thing so I could see everybody. Because somebody raises their hand and you're not on my screen, I can't tell. Okay, so I started doing diaphragm breathing or belly breathing or abdominal breathing. It goes under a variety of terms. But the idea is that you focus on using your diaphragm when you breathe. So we were belly breathers when we were born, and then we developed into chest breathers as we got older. And as we get older, we become throat breathers. So your energy goes from your abdomen into your chest, into your throat, and then where's the next place it goes? It goes away, and you go away. So that's what. So my kung fu teacher would always say, keep your chi low, keep your energy low. You don't want your energy up here. You want it low, because when it gets up here, the next step is out. So just be careful of that. Be conscious of that. So I breathe. I do my breathing very low, and for the remainder of these sessions, we're going to breathe in and out through our nose only. All right, and the idea is on the inhale. So on the inhale, we push down on the diaphragm. We force the diaphragm down. All right, and that forces our abdomen to expand, our torso to expand. So we inhale, everything goes out. And when we exhale, we pull the abdominals back in again. We pull in everything tight. We squeeze up, we pull up on the diaphragm as we exhale. Kind of backwards, that's how you think you breathe now. Excuse me. So inhale, everything goes out, and exhale, we pull everything in. I'm just trying to move my chair a little so you can see me better. Sorry, I got a chair under a rug here. So let me just back up 1 second to one more screen. So I'm sitting is important to do this. So I'm sitting in a chair that is not a normal size chair, but it's not a pub height. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. And my hips are slightly above my knees. And back a little further. Come on, chair, move. There we go. All right. So I have no arms on this chair because I will tend to whack them because I move my arms around a lot as I'm talking. And no wheels. I mean, no wheels, not like an office chair where we can roll around. All right. So we're sitting on. I also sit on the edge of the chair. If you need to sit back, and if you need to have a chair with arms, please do that for stability. Gentle gaze forward. The tip of your tongue should be touching the roof of your mouth just behind your front teeth. All right, that helps you to keep your mouth closed while we're doing these. Feet are flat on the floor. Your hands are in your lap. You can have your hands palms together. All right, so your palms are together. Your toes, your feet are flat. Your toes can gently grip the floor with your toes and just simply relax. And like I said earlier, breathing in and out through the nose for the rest of the session and actually try to be conscious of it and do it for the rest of the day, okay? All right, so let's go and try to do some belly breathing. And again, like I said, when we inhale, we push down and expand the torso. And when we exhale, we pull everything back in. All right, diaphragm goes down, diaphragm comes up. And again, these are not simple to do to start, so don't get frustrated. There's benefit to this, number one, and it's very relaxing once you get the knack of it, number two. So it's supposed to be relaxing, so don't get frustrated. That's my point. All right, so we're going to breathe in. I like to count to 5, so kind of regulate your breathing from 1 to 5. 5, you're going to be full, and then we exhale, count to 5 till we're completely empty. All right, so let's do a few. And inhale. I'm going to move my hands so you guys can see what's going on. So we're going to inhale, push down. Everything comes out. Exhale, pull everything in. Pull your diaphragm up, your abdominals in. Inhale out. Exhale in. Squeeze the abs, pull the diaphragm up. Inhale, diaphragm goes down. Exhale, pull everything up. Inhale, fill your torso with air. Exhale. Press, contract, pull everything in nice and tight. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe through your nose. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Nice and tight. Inhale. Fill all the way up. Exhale. Empty it out. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do a few more. Inhale. Fill your torso with air. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. So that's belly breathing 101, diaphragm breathing, abdominal breathing, whatever you'd like to call it. I think belly breathing sounds more friendly than diaphragm breathing, so it sounds more fun. All right. Anybody have any questions on that? Any struggles, any difficulties, anything you want to share? I'll open up the floor for a minute. Rick, go ahead.
Well, I did way before I knew I had muscular dystrophy. I did these breathing exercises as you described, but it was under the Indian practice of pranayama, and they were having you breathe in one nostril and breathe out the other. I don't know what that made any difference, but their main focus was to get your breathing out of your belly again, like a baby. So that helped for years ahead. So it was a good practice to have.
Yeah, I attended a session. You just made me think of it. I attended a session a few years ago where, similar to what you said, it was Tibetan, some kind of a breathing. The guy had this big, long-winded, fancy-sounding name. And the intent was to get you to just focus on your breathing, but he had you breathing in your left nostril and following the air down and wiggling it around and then coming back up the other side, out the other side. It was kind of a fun thing, but I thought, in reality, it was kind of goofy because, but again, it just gets you to focus on breathing more than, but in and out of one different nostrils. I don't think that's, I don't subscribe to that because that's, it's kind of, you're using half of your system there. And then, anyway, yeah, but thanks for sharing that. That was kind of made me think of that. It was a funny session that I attended. But anyway, just to stop and talk a bit about doing these types of breathing exercises. The best way to do this, if you're able to, is to be outside barefoot, making contact with the earth. That's the best way, because the bigger picture of this is you're moving energy. We're doing the breathing piece of it, but the other idea of it is the Qigong part of this is that you are moving energy. On the inhale, you are drawing energy up from the earth, and on the exhale, you're pushing used energy back into the earth. So having that contact with the earth is very, very important. And I attended a session not long ago. I wish I have to find the video on it. This gentleman was talking about, it was all about electromagnetic energy. And he had he did this demonstration with his cell phone. So he had his cell phone and he had his assistant with an electromagnetic meter. I might be using the wrong words, but he had the meter. And as he was holding his phone, the meter was like at 100. All right. And then he stood on this grounding pad. So it's basically a pad that's plugged into the wall, but it's only plugged into the ground piece. It's not actually plugged in the electric box. So you ground yourself. And the meter went to 0. So it took all of that static electricity out of his body. And I just thought that was so cool. So making contact with the earth definitely helps the energy levels up. It changes the energy levels in your body. And it gets a lot of that noisy energy out, making that contact. So again, if you can do it outside barefoot, 5 minutes, belly breathing, just making contact with the earth, checking out the trees, whatever kind of a view you have in your yard. You can do it on concrete. You can, sand, whatever, anything that conducts electricity. Wood is no good. Rubber is no good. That's why you do it barefoot, so you're not wearing like rubber sole shoes. Okay. So if you want to take it to the next level, that would be fun for you to do. The other stuff that I did last week, and I'm going to skip through this because of my computer problem, I lost a few minutes. But I'll cut these down a little bit. So we just did some breathing. So the breathing is one part. And what I like to do with the breathing also is to try to feel that the air getting into your body, and down into your, we feel the air. We know it's there because we're doing the expanding and contracting. And I like to visualize to kind of take away that. So the breathing becomes automatic because we're kind of focused on doing something else. And visualize, doing stuff with my hands. So I'm going to show you some visualizations that I like to do while I'm doing the Qigong also, or the breathing exercises and the Qigong. All right, so these are kind of like, I call them hold the ball. So we're going to make believe we're holding the ball. I have a ball, so you can, if you want to use this as a visual, I got my ball here that I like to use. So if you're holding a ball like this, that's what it would look like. You can visualize it to be any size you want, any color you want. You could give it some texture. You can give it some temperature if you want. All right. So what we do is we'll hold the ball, and as we inhale, as we expand, the ball expands. And as we exhale, the ball compresses. So we are expanding and compressing at the same time. We are visualizing that our ball of energy here, if you will, is expanding and compressing as we're doing the breathing. So let's do a few with doing the visualization. You can close your eyes for this. So hold the ball and kind of give it a color in your mind, and give it some texture. Is it smooth? Is it fuzzy? Is it lumpy? And give it some temperature. Is it warm? Is it cool? All right. So visualize this ball in your hand, and as we inhale, we're going to inhale. Again, we push the torso out, and we expand the ball. Inhale for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be full, and the ball should be filled with energy. And then we're going to exhale and squeeze. We're going to compress our abs. We're going to pull up on the diaphragm, and we're going to squeeze the ball back. Okay, we're going to inhale. Everything expands. Exhale, compress. Inhale, expand. Push the diaphragm down. Exhale, compress. Inhale, expand. Exhale, compress. Maybe as we do more and more of these, the ball starts to glow a little. Just compress. Ball's filling with energy. Inhale. Expand. Exhale, compress. And now rotate your hands. Left hand is on top, right hand is on the bottom. Inhale. Push the ball up. Exhale. Squeeze everything down. Inhale. Expand. Exhale, compress. Inhale, expand. Exhale, compress. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the abs, pull up on the diaphragm. Okay, now inhale. Rotate your hands. Right is on top. Exhale, squeeze the ball. Inhale. Rotate. Exhale. Inhale. Rotate. Exhale. Inhale. Expand. Everything's out. Expand the ball. Expand your torso. Push down on the diaphragm. Rotate your hands. Exhale. Squeeze everything down. Pull up on the diaphragm. Squeeze the air out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Good. Inhale. Rotate your hands. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Rotate. Exhale. Inhale. Rotate. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Rotate. Exhale. Okay, let's take the ball and put it off to the side for a minute. Hands at our sides. It's a little coordination exercise that I like to do. So we're going to have our hands at our sides. As we inhale, the left hand comes up. As we exhale, the left hand goes down and the right hand comes up. So we inhale, left hand up. Exhale, right hand up. Inhale, expand the torso, push down on the diaphragm. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Try to, at the top of the inhale, just suck a little more air in. Take that little sniffle and then exhale. Right hand up. Inhale. Sniffle. Exhale. All the way, blow everything out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Inhale. Left hand comes up, torso out. Push the diaphragm down. Exhale. Right hand up. Squeeze everything nice and tight. Inhale. Expand. Get that little sniffle in at the end. A little extra air. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Couple more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Keep your hand down when we're done. Good, 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 good. Okay, so that's everything that I went over last time. All right, so I've got some new stuff. We've got 40 minutes, 20 minutes rather. Any questions on what I just did? Anything you want to share? Anybody has any comments? I hope
Yeah.
everybody's.
A question for you. The speed and rhythm, my natural rhythm is probably slower than yours there. Is there an advantage to going faster or slower, or finding where, like a slow count of 5 or something like that?
So are you able to keep up with the 5 count, or are you filled up at 3?
I could keep going. I'm filling more slowly and have more capacity to go.
Okay. So then you could keep going. So then you could actually breathe faster, do the inhale faster. Are you full breathing? Inhaling, you could go more than 5. That's what I'm.
Yeah, well, at a slower rate, I mean, I could go faster, but I probably get a little dizzier. But
Okay.
At a slower pace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could probably make myself full at that,
Okay.
and the same on the.
So good, really good question. The pace is up to you. You need to find your own pace. It's a really good question, because I'm just using 5 as an example to get you used to the in and out. But if you could get to 5 faster by breathing faster, or are you going to be full at 8 and you want to maintain that pace? That's entirely up to you. All right, what you're comfortable with. I don't want you getting dizzy. Okay, so if you've got the capacity to get up to 8, great. 10, great. I can get up to 18, but I don't want to show off. So I want you to keep. So 5 is kind of the best way to, for me to just get you doing it. Find your number, and then the idea is, because if you notice that it's easier to exhale than it is to inhale. All right, because we're stretching stuff on the inhale. We're stretching out things that we not normally, because somebody used the word shallow. We're shallow breathers. We don't usually normally breathe in a lot of air, right? So doing these exercises gets you more oxygen, and we're moving and using muscles that we don't normally use in the breathing process. So you're going to find yourself being a little bit uncomfortable. If you get to 10, do you feel like you're pushing yourself? Do you feel uncomfortable when you get to 10?
Well, it depends how fast I count. So I can always
get
make
to
one
the
full breath 5.
So you want to get to the point where you're feeling uncomfortable and push yourself to get past that, so that that'll help you increase your capacity.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Excellent question. Thank you. And the other part of it is, on the exhale, because if I can inhale for 5, just using 5 as a number, I can easily exhale for 10, because it's easier to push it out, because of that. Again, we're using muscles and we're pushing parts of our body that we don't normally use for this process. So, and that's part of the trouble. Part of the difficulty with this is people feel uncomfortable, and people don't like to feel uncomfortable, so they don't want to pursue it. You need to push through it, because if 10 is your limit, then you want to set your goal to 12, and that's why I showed you that sniffle at the end, because that just gives you that little extra expand, and that becomes 6. And then when you're 6, that sniffle becomes 7. You see where I'm going with that? So you can always do it a little more, and you're not going to get to 18 overnight. I got to 18 over years. All right, I didn't get there, just doing this overnight. So it takes a while. And again, don't get frustrated. It's supposed to be relaxing. Okay. So don't get frustrated and say, "Oh, Frank's full of it. That doesn't work." It does work. You just have to be persistent. Okay. You will get there. And you find your limit and you push it. And that's the other thing with this. All right. So again, good question. Anyone else? We have a lot of people here today, Joe.
Hey, Frank.
Yes.
This is Rick. Do you find yourself getting winded easily or more easily as you go along in age? I mean, I now have been diagnosed with dyspnea, which is shortness of breath, and upon exertion. So walking or sitting around, I don't experience that, but going up a hill or something, I get winded really easily. Is that something you experience, or anybody else here?
I'll open the floor to that. Anyone want to comment?
I'm all alone.
So
I don't talk to other people with
I don't get
FSHD.
winded per se, but I get fatigued. I get fatigued quickly.
No one wants to admit it.
Yeah.
If I'm climbing stairs, I get winded because it involves more of the core. If I'm just walking, it's just fatigued.
Thanks.
How about walking, but going up an incline? Not stairs, but up a ramp, for instance. Anyone have difficulty with that?
Ramps are especially difficult for me. But I can't do stairs anymore. I actually have a stair lift to go up and down stairs. But I think fatigued is probably a better, when I'm walking, I always get a muscle spasm in my lower back. And from that point on, it becomes more difficult. I'm sorry. So
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. Yeah. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that stairs or a ramp, it's almost as much difficulty now walking up an incline, walking up a very slight hill even is difficult for me.
I'll agree with that. In fact, my I still prefer to do stairs over a ramp, mainly because my hips don't fatigue as quickly going stairs as they do going the ramp. I don't know why the difference. I can't explain it.
No, I agree.
I think going down a ramp sucks altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, well, going downstairs, I find easy. Going up stairs and going up an incline. It could be the slightest incline too. It doesn't even have to be a big incline. I just, and that I noticed recently because we go to the restaurant here to eat once in a while, and they have a ramp, and I might as well just use the stairs because it's a struggle either way. I wish they would put in a lift, but they don't. They're not going that way. So anyway, anyone else? Thank you all for contributing. This is good stuff.
So same thing. The only thing I would add is the more regular I exercise, the more you give your diaphragm exercise, the less the depreciation is in the breathing. I've noted that. So keep up with the exercise. That helps with the with the struggle with breathing as we as you climb on an incline. I've noted that.
Right. Yes. It affects everything, I think. It's a struggle. It just presents a physical struggle, not particular to any body part. I don't think it's overall. Good. Okay. Good stuff. Let's move on. And we'll do a few more exercises and then we can call it a day, a week, and a month because we're already at the end of June. All right, I had a few more of these exercises that I just like to show you. Again, these are all just doing some hand motions in addition to. I'm going to jump to the end of my slide here because I think these are kind of interesting along the lines of what someone mentioned earlier about the counting and whether that matters. So there's a couple of the next step of this, which is I'll get into this more next time, is to alter or vary the count. So for instance, let's do this. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for a count of 5, and we're going to hold for a count of 5, and then we're going to exhale for a count of 5. So we start to mess around with the counting, and then the exercise after that is what we will do is we were counting to 5. So let's get to full at 3. So we've got to breathe in faster. So we can breathe in faster. And then next time what we'll do is we'll vary the inhale time, the hold time, and the exhale time to give you an idea of how you can vary those timings and what effect, to notice what kind of an effect that has on your breathing. And the worst one, and we'll hold it for, is like just a quick 1 inhale, 1 exhale. So you do that and do it for like 10 minutes, and you have an oxygen rush like you wouldn't believe. So we'll save that one for next time. But so the slow breathing. So let's just do that. So we're breathing in a count of 5, then we hold for a count of 5, and then we will exhale for a count of 5. All right. So it's just putting that hold in there to see does that do anything or not. All right. So inhale, push down, push out, hold, exhale. Inhale, push everything out. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Push down on the diaphragm, expand the torso. That little sniffle at the end, hold. Exhale. So one thing, I'll just stop for a second. One of my peers talks about belly breathing, and he calls this six-way breathing or six-direction breathing, because you want to, if you visualize yourself as think about a balloon. So a balloon, when you blow up a balloon, it just doesn't blow up in one direction, right? It blows up in every direction. So we want to think of this as we are expanding to the sides, we are expanding front to back, and we are expanding top and bottom. Try breathing when at the end of your inhale, you can feel it in your shoulder. That's something that I always know I'm full when I can feel it in my shoulders. And you're saying, I don't get that. Well, try it enough and you'll get to that. So let's do a few more of these. I just wanted to throw a couple of those little tidbits in there, but I wanted to share with you the concept of the directional breathing to kind of give you an idea of what you should be talking about when we're doing this. Okay. All right. So let's do a few more of the slow breathing with the hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. You want to use your hands, you can do that. Left hand, right hand. Inhale, left hand up. Right hand up. Inhale. Exhale. Or you want to use the ball. Hold the ball. Inhale, the ball expands. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Hold. And exhale. Okay, so changing the cadence has a little bit of an effect on how your thought process works, how your hand motions work, and how the whole breathing process works. Because the hold, like I said, I like to do the hold because that stretching, like we were talking about earlier, may cause some discomfort. And the hold maybe helps you to push through that. So that's why I like to do that hold. The next one is we're going to inhale to the full, but we're only going to count to 3. And if you can do it on one big breath, again, through your nose. So we're going to inhale and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now, don't forget to do the diaphragm. You'll have a tendency to do it up here. Use the diaphragm. Push down, pull up. Push down, pull up. Squeeze, push out, pull in. Push out on the inhale. Belly goes out. Exhale. Tighten real quick. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, so that was on a 1 count. I'm sorry, I said 3. I'm doing them on a 1. Everybody's going to be getting dizzy. So let's try it again. 3 count. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhale. Inhale it into your shoulders. Push your rib cage out. Exhale. Squeeze everything down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Any thoughts on those? Again, changing the cadence, changing the speed. It doesn't make it comfortable when you do that, right? Because we got into that little slow, nice, gentle breathing. You can do it with some vigor, and it makes it, you feel a lot different when you're done doing. So do that one count for 5 minutes. I challenge you to do it over the next 2 weeks, and then come back to me and tell you how you felt after doing that for 5 minutes. Rated or not. Okay, so that's my challenge to all of you for next time, is to work towards that one-time breathing. That would be cool. All right. And
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Frank. I love doing this in the middle of the, well, for me, it's the middle of the day. Some of you, it's in the morning, but really gets us all oxygenated and
oxygenated, yes.
oxygenated,
So,
ready
so
to.
let me just quickly close up. Try to do these every day. If you're going to do them, don't not do them. Either do them or don't. I guess that's my point. Because if you're, I don't feel like doing it today, and then the next day you don't feel like doing it, and then you're not doing it. So, and again, with the FSH, we need to keep this system strong. Focus on nose breathing and the belly breathing. Our next meeting is on July the 12th or the 11th. July the 11th or 12th. That's it. Right? That's our next meeting, and we'll do part 3 of this. I will go through everything up to now, and actually I had a whole nother slide that I need to get through for that. And thanks for joining, you guys. I enjoyed working with you today. Have a safe holiday if you're in the States. 4th of July coming up. Don't eat too many hot dogs. Everybody be well. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye.